Hello and good morning and welcome to this 10th day of July 2025. We are here to keep you up to speed with what is happening in the country, and this is Alan Hubbard alongside sign language interpreter Tobias Omondi. And we are going to be looking at all the stories that are making headlines in the country, including the president calling out the opposition that he says is trying to overthrow his government. And the leader of the DCP party, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, coming out and saying that they, the opposition, do not want to overthrow the government, but rather keep it in check, and among other stories that are making headlines in the country this morning. Of course, we shall go through the dailies, getting to understand what is in the Daily Nation and the Standard Plus. Your morning weather and your morning quote this morning. And you can engage with us on our social media platforms. That is at Science TV Kenya, at the Alan Hubbard, and across all platforms. That is on Facebook, TikTok, WhatsApp. We are on WhatsApp channels as well, plus YouTube. We are streaming live. Kindly comment and engage with us, and we'll be glad to share and sample some of your feedback, and also put some of your feedback into consideration in the work that we do on a daily basis here at Science TV. And that sort of sets the tone for the breakfast show this morning. Now, these are the stories that are making headlines in the country. And we started off with I Dare You. Ruto warns those planning a coup to oust him from power. And a fuming President William Ruto on Wednesday vowed to deal with those plotting to oust him from power unconstitutionally. Speaking at the Kilimani police station after inspecting a police housing project, President Ruto said that he will not allow anyone to use violence to remove him from the nation's top seat. He dared anyone to attempt the move before the 2027 general election, noting that he can no longer maintain his silence and enough is enough. And the president further fired at his detractors, questioning why his regime is being violently attacked while his predecessors did not receive a similar backlash. Here are the full details to this story.
Kwanza niliona ati wanasema ati sasa hawatangojea 2027 ati tupige kura. Ati wanataka kupanga fujo. Ati wapange maandamano. Ati wachome mali ya watu. Ati walete maafa Kenya. Ati ndio wapindue serikali ya Kenya kabla ya 2027. Mimi nataka niwaambie wajaribu. Watajua hawajui. Kenya ni nchi ya demokrasia. Hamuwezi kutuambia ya kwamba mnaweza kupanga fujo ati mpindue serikali ya Kenya. Tafuteni vizuri. Hii fujo yote wananiletea. Mbona hawakuletea Kibaki? Mbona hawakuletea Uhuru? Mimi nimenyamaza, mimi nimewavumilia, lakini mahali imefika. Enough is enough. You can call me whatever names you want to call me, but I will make sure that there is peace and stability in Kenya by all means possible. Sio kama tunaelewana, my friends. Hapana. Hii kuchoma mali ya wananchi itakoma. Watachukuliwa hatua ya sheria na wote watafungwa. Na wao viongozi wao, we are coming after you. You cannot sponsor violence in the Republic of Kenya and expect to go scot-free. This country will not be destroyed by a few people who are impatient and who want to have a change of government using unconstitutional means. It is not going to happen. Mtu ambaye anachukua moto, anaenda kuchoma biashara ya mtu, anaenda kuchoma mali ya watu wengine. Mtu kama huyo apigwe risasi miguu, aende hospitali, akienda kotini. Yes. Yeah. Wasimuue lakini wapige hii miguu ivunjike ndio aende kotini, aende hospitali, akienda kotini. Those who attack our police, those who attack our security men and women, those who attack our security installations, including police stations, that is a declaration of war. That is terrorism. We are going to deal with you firmly.
Staying on the president, he went ahead and criticized court orders halting police use of roadblocks. And President William Ruto criticized those who moved to court and obtained conservatory orders barring the Inspector General of Police from erecting roadblocks within Nairobi and its environs during protests. The Katiba Institute had moved to court citing the unlawful suspension of fundamental human rights following the events of July 7, where police barricaded major roads leading into Nairobi, ostensibly to prevent Sabasaba protesters from accessing the the central business district. Delivering his ruling on Wednesday, Justice Lawrence Mugambi found that the actions of the National Police Service had infringed on key constitutional rights, including freedom of movement, assembly, and protest as provided under Article 37 and 39 of the Constitution.
Ate kuna mtu kotini amesema ati Inspector General ya Police asiweke roadblock, ati asitumie tear gas, asitumie water cannon kuprotect mali na maisha ya Wakenya wengine. Na huyo mwenye anasema hiyo, kwake kuna askari wanamchunga, kwa gari yake iko askari anamwendesha. There is a reason why there is a roadblock. There is a reason why police have tear gas. There is a reason why water cannons are there. They are supposed to be used to protect the lives and property of other Kenyans when they are in danger.
And away from that, and now Gachagua to Ruto. Stop being angry. Kenyans are angrier than you. And former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has lashed out at President William Ruto over his Wednesday address, in which he claimed some political leaders are inciting youth to oust him from power. During the commissioning of a police housing project in Nairobi's Kilimani area on Wednesday, an angry Ruto said enough is enough to unnamed Kenyans who think they can change this administration using violence and unlawful means before 2027. And Gachagua called a press conference at his current home shortly after the president's speech, where he told the president to address the issues Kenyans have been raising through recent street protests instead of quavering and wailing in uncontrollable anger. And protests across Kenya have increased in recent months over growing public discontent against President Ruto's regime over the rising cost of living and a quarter of crackdowns on government critics and street protests, many of which have resulted in death, injuries, and abductions. Here are the full details to the story.
Nobody has any plan to overthrow your administration, Mr. President. We want to face you on the ballot in August 2027. So just relax and stop crying wolf that anybody wants you out of office unconstitutionally. There is no leader here who is planning a coup, and none has the capacity. This narrative you are creating that there is an attempt to overthrow your government is for you to have the opportunity to use the Terrorism Act to profile communities and to persecute leaders who are opposed to your administration. Please relax. We want you to serve your one term. Nobody wants you out of government unconstitutionally. When a police station in Mawego in Homa Bay County was torched, the suspects for that particular crime have been charged with arson. But when a police station is alleged to have been torched in Kiambu, suspects from the Kikuyu Nation are charged with terrorism charges. Killer squad of 101 that works under the Director General of the National Intelligence Service, Nuruddin Haji, was armed with assault rifles and drove in a convoy of unmarked Subarus, shooting and killing innocent protesters aimlessly in the streets and estates. This morning, I've seen Ruto quavering and wailing in uncontrollable anger. Mr. Ruto, excessive anger is not a solution. I want, with a lot of humility, to advise you to stop being angry. That will not help.
And away from that now to clergy condemns police, clergy and FIDA condemn police brutality and urge government to address grievances of the young. Now, religious leaders and FIDA from across Kenya have strongly condemned the killings and injuring of Gen Z protesters during protests in the country. They've rejected different stances by leaders in the country and terming them as illegal and against both the law and scripture. Now, the clergy are now asking the president to urgently address demands by the youth to improve the ailing economy and create job opportunities. We're warning that unless this is done, protests will persist and the nation's stability will remain at risk. Here are the full details to the story.
All the commissions created by all the Chapter 6 commissions to rise up and take necessary action on all persons who are abusing power and misusing security personnel to further their political interests. In our careful consideration, the state led by His Excellency, our President, Dr. William Ruto, can and must restore public trust by ensuring that senior state perpetrators of violence and financial scandals face the law through meaningful prosecutions.
The fact that I don't take part in the protests and you lose a daughter, you lose a son, you lose a father, you lose a mother, it is very worrying. You lose a child in the comfort of your home, in the sanctity of our homes. And that is why we are calling upon the president. Mr. President, something is wrong. Don't shy away from addressing what is wrong.
We have been documenting at every instance what action we are taking. That does not limit us to seeking legal redress. We'll be looking at ensuring that the families of those who lost their loved ones have gotten justice.
And those are some of the stories that are making headlines in the country this morning. These are the dailies this morning, and we started off with the Daily Nation, as the president is quoted by saying, "Enough is enough." And tough stance: if you attempt to attack a police station, you will be shot in the legs. An angry President William Ruto warned yesterday as he threatened to use the use of extreme force against demonstrators involved in looting and destruction of property. Now, the head of state also took on elements in the opposition he accuses of orchestrating a broader scheme to destabilize the country and overthrow his government, telling them that power will only change through elections. This is a story that you'll find on page 4 of the Daily Nation this morning. Gachagua, no one wants to kick you out. I impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi Gachagua has dismissed President William Ruto's claim that the opposition is orchestrating his overthrow through violence and destruction of property. Now, the Democracy for the Citizens Party leader instead asked Dr. Ruto to exercise restraint and address the root cause of the protests by young Kenyans. That is a story that you'll find on page 5 of the Daily Nation this morning. And other quotes: to those plotting in the shadows, let me tell you clearly, if you have ambitions, prepare your policies and meet me in 2027. There is no shortcut. That the president is quoted as saying. And in reactions, former DP Rigathi Gachagua, please relax. We want you to serve your one term. Nobody is planning to remove you unconstitutionally. No leader here is plotting a coup. They have no such capacity. Also, Inter-Religious Council of Kenya, the fight by the dominant political elite to acquire, protect, and consolidate political and economic power is tearing our nation apart with unprecedented detention, violence, and killing of innocent citizens. That is some of the commentary from what is happening in the country currently. The Standard this morning are also going with the headline that is saying President losing it. And a legendary poet, T.S. Eliot, wrote that men who are unaffected by death or despair are hollow. And today, as Kenya teeters on the brink of anarchy, many see those haunting words in their head of state. When the nation cried for a father, he answered with fury. When the bereaved wept, he backed orders. As bullets tore through bodies and grief swept across the country, the president remained unmoved, neither mourning with those left bereft nor addressing the chaos consuming the country. In a moment demanding humility and healing, he chose power and punishment, ordering police to shoot rioters. That is a story that you'll find on page 4 of the Daily Standard this morning. Anyone burning down someone else's business and property should be shot in the legs so that they will pass through the hospital as they go to court. The police, should not kill them, but they should hit them and break their legs. And police brutality, July 7th, 2025 has been documented. A total of 31 people dead, 107 wounded, 532 arrested, as 20 counties affected by 7/7 protests. That is Sabasaba. I saw Ruto wailing uncontrollably with anger, but I tell him that anger is not the solution. Just relax. No leader wants to overthrow you. No one has the capacity. We want to humiliate you from the ballot in 2027. That is Rigathi Gachagua, the DCP leader. And that sums up the stories that are making headlines in the dailies. When we come back, we're coming back with your sport. Keep it science.